Coming to you from the My Little Falls studio here in beautiful Little Falls, New York. It's your host, Scott Kinville, and another episode of Marty's Illegal Stick.
And what's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 28 of Marty's Illegal Stick, being recorded here on June 2nd, 2021. You know, the voiceover, I do believe that's your wife, correct, Dave?
Yeah, that is her.
She does a great job on that. I got to tell you. She does,
yeah.
She said beautiful Little Falls, New York, and normally, yes, but it's pouring out there right now.
I know.
It's not very beautiful right now.
It's not very, it's a, you know, I think the Mighty Ducks were out front.
You're right. Could very well be. They're in the flying wedge.
Yeah. They were.
Yeah.
They were.
Oh, so we got a pretty fun show lined up for everybody today. We're going to play a little game with our esteemed panel that we got. We're a little short-handed. We're on the penalty kill right today, but that's okay. We're going to get through this.
They're all in the penalty box.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyways, before we get going with our little game, and I'll explain that to you in a minute, I'm going to bring in our esteemed panel. First of all, as always, I'm going to bring in the man they call Gump, my dad, Mr. Leo Kinville. What's happening?
Oh, Scott, how's it going there? You're right with the rain. He asked me if I wanted a bottle of water to bring with me. I said, no, I've seen enough of it. Thank you very much.
Just sip along the road.
Well, we could have just grabbed a puddle and just kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
And over to my left is our faithful producer, our man behind the scenes, the man who runs the keyboard, the man who does everything else for us, but talk. Dave,
talk
the Save Warner. That's right.
I occasionally put my 2 cents in.
That's right. So what's going on?
Nothing.
Nothing?
It's all good.
All right, good. So you're over your savers?
Moving right along.
We got the draft lottery tonight, though. I'm telling you, your luck changes. I'm telling you.
I'm thinking it will.
Okay. I got faith in you.
Yeah. Well.
And our other panelist making his return once again. I'm sure he's maybe coming off cloud nine just a little bit after last night or the game the other night. I'm going to bring in the doctor of hockey, Dr. Keith Levatino. What's happening, Keith?
Well, don't expect a rain day tomorrow at school. We're showing up. This isn't like snow. I'm hearing about all this rain.
Don't you do that to me. Don't you dare.
No, right. You know, I never thought of it like that. All the mad husbands.
Yeah, those of us that are off that.
Nothing like a little day drinking, a little day hockey.
Well, I got to be careful. I still got to pick my kid up from school, you know.
Oh, well. So thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So what's going on?
Nothing. Hockey at its finest. I love the Islanders. I do not know how they're winning games. I mean, every time I watch them, I have to switch channels, walk because of the anxiety. One, they're getting out hit and they're getting pummeled, and they're the worst team of clearing the zone. I've never seen anything like, but yet they find a way to win.
I know, it's incredible. You know, I was watching that game the other night, and I saw Boston start to turn. I'm going, oh boy. I go, they're going to go back. They're going to go back to Nassau down 2-0. I go, this is not going to be good. But for whatever reason, the Islanders just do what they do. They're opportunistic, is what it is.
Well, and they don't quit though either. They just keep on trying. No. They don't quit. They play 60 minutes of hockey. Period.
That's right. And you know, that second period was phenomenal. But that's a great point. They play 60 minutes. I'm like, I was thinking about the show on the way home tonight. What makes me feel good about the team aren't the players. It's Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz. I mean, there really is something to say about effective management and effective coaching. There really is.
Absolutely.
And I trust every trade that this guy makes in one way or the other. It makes a difference, and he's a proven winner. So it is what it is.
Did you hear what he said about the effective management and all? Was there a subtle undertone to that?
I don't know.
That makes a difference. I don't know. I picked up on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, he is a manager, you know. I think it's going to start going off the rails in a hurry. You got a Ranger fan saying nice things about the Islanders, you know.
Well, yeah, that don't happen.
But, you know, I got to ask you something, though. How much do you think Toronto wishes they had Lamoriello back right now?
Oh, my God. Yeah, you know, because he recruited or brought in the majority of those players, I would think, right?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, sticking with being an Islander fan, who's got a smile on his face about the Tavares? Not that he got hurt, but he hasn't made them a Stanley Cup champion yet. So,
you know. Didn't we have that talk when that all happened? Remember that?
I know. The only thing
had to talk you off the ledge.
Well, what I was really mad about was they got nothing for him. That's what bothered me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway,
you're much better off.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's get into our little game. I came up with a little game. I've wanted to do this for a while. So what I do, I'm going to call this the numbers game, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a jersey number, and then I'm going to give you a group of players. And then I want you to tell me who you think was the best player to wear that particular number out of that group. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So the first number we're going to do is number 91. And your choices are Steven Stamkos, Sergei Fedorov, John Tavares, or other. Keith, we'll start with you.
Scott, who was the last one?
John Tavares or other. Or I'll give you the wild card option too. If you can think of somebody else who's better that wore 91, by all means.
Wow. It's not Tavares. And
somehow I didn't think it would be.
And that's not because I hold a grudge, but it is. I remember watching Fedorov. He was darn good. I remember like wishing that the Islanders would get him in a trade, when you kind of like trade deadline, things like that.
Right.
He was a true center. He was a scorer. I think I'm going to go with him. Now, let me ask you a question. Was he on any of their Stanley Cup championship teams? I forget.
Yeah, he was on 97, 98, and I believe he was still there for 02.
Okay, so he's got at least 2 or 3, which equals what Stamkos has, right?
Stamkos has 1, or no, I'm sorry, 2. He's
got 2, yeah. So I mean, because you have
no, he's got 1. I'm sorry, they made the finals in 15. They didn't win it. Chicago won that. So Stamkos has 1.
So because great players are judged by championships. So I'm going to go with Sergei there, Fedorov.
Okay, good choice. How about you there, Gump?
Well, he was a great hockey player. Stamkos was a good hockey player, but I went with John Tavares. Only because I watched him through the years, and I think the guy is a good hockey player, maybe not a great hockey player, but he gives 110%, and sometimes, I don't know. I just think it's Tavares.
Oh, he's a great all-around player, but I seriously think you are becoming a closet Islander fan.
Well, now we're going to fight.
Here we go again, bloodshed.
Drop the gloves. That's
ding, ding, ding. All right.
Yeah. I've always liked John Tavares.
Well, I'll tell you, he's one of those quiet, effective leaders. We're right back to that effective management. Yeah. Is that going to be the theme of the day?
Let's hope not.
I hope not. There's nothing effective about this show. You know what? I'm going to tell you something.
The Rangers are coming.
Yeah. Effective management. Correct. Yeah. I got to tell you, I agree with Keith. Sergei Fedorov was just amazing. I mean, he had the whole package, right? He had the speed. He had the size. He could hit. Played a 200-foot game. He could score. He could do anything you wanted. Right. And it's absolutely amazing. And the best part about him was he was one of the, if you recall, he was part of that first wave of Russians that came over after the Soviet Union fell and all that. And he was able to come over as a young player, which was a real treat, because if you remember when like Slava Fetisov, Sergei Makarov, and all those guys came over, they were already like getting towards into their 30s.
Right.
But Fedorov was like 19 or 20, I think, when he came over. So yeah, that to me, it definitely goes to Sergei Fedorov. And he's a Hall of Famer. How do you argue with that?
I just did.
I mean,
all right, never mind. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go to our next number, and this one's going to be a little more difficult for you guys. Okay, so the number is number 9. And your choices are Gordie Howe, Rocket Richard, Bobby Hull, or other. And Gump, I'm going to go to you first.
Well, growing up with us around me, Bobby Hull, the Golden Jet, was always my favorite. And then Rocket Richard. How do you not? This is a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
But then again, how do you not take Gordie Howe? I took Gordie Howe because the man has done everything in hockey and everything for hockey. All 3 of them. You could have circled the whole thing.
I don't think you can go wrong with any of those choices.
None,
to be honest with you.
As far as but I put Gordie on number 1.
Gordie. All right, Keith.
Clark Gillies.
Okay, so that was other. Okay, well,
no.
Where's that sound effect? That more.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with the Rocket, and here's why. Because greatness is also about winning. Now, not that Gordie Howe and the others didn't win, but I don't know the exact amount, but I'm pretty sure that he would have a lot more Stanley Cups than those other players.
By far.
Right.
Yep.
And here's why I'm going to go with that. Because last week when we were on the show, we were all talking, and somehow we were talking about the Canadians. And I started to get reminiscent. This is really while we're on the show. And I was thinking about my college days in Plattsburgh. Scott, remember I told you I would organize trips to the Montreal Forum and we'd go see the Islanders in the early 80s? I mean, good stuff. Okay.
Absolutely.
So while we were talking, the legacy of Canadians and such as who we're talking about today, the Rocket, I actually looked up. I thought the old Forum was demolished. It's not. It's like this huge movie complex that they converted. I was looking at pictures. The point I'm trying to make is there's legacy there, and there's winning legacy. I mean, they were talking about how they had a statue of him out there, Stanley Cups embedded in the cement. That's legacy, and that's part of winning. That's why. So I got to go with him. So
and they had a riot over him.
And yeah,
I remember the Richard riot. We talked about that in the Zamboni Time Machine.
Yes, and they had a riot over him. So, again, all great, no doubt about it. But if you're going to compare apples to apples and greatness, who won more? That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, you really can't go wrong with any of these choices. For me, it was Gordie by the slimmest of margins. And I'll tell you why, because you're right about winning, but he did win a few cups in the 50s with Detroit. Right. And to be able to play as long as he did is absolutely astounding. I mean, I realized that he put up the huge numbers, overall career numbers that he did because, I mean, he played, 26 seasons. So, I mean, you're bound to, with the amount of talent that he had, of course, you're going to, pile up points. And I just wonder what Rocket Richard's numbers would have looked like had he played a little bit longer.
Well, And this isn't to be disrespectful, but when I think of Richard, I think of that Canadian uniform. And I'm not a Canadian Montreal Canadian. Okay. I picture Gordie Howe at the end of his career wearing a Hartford Whalers uniform.
Yeah.
There's got to be legacy. He was more than that. Not that I'm not putting them down. It's just, I just see him as having more legacy.
Yeah. Well, that's like I said, no wrong choices involved there at all. So,
right. Including Clark Gillies.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
We're going to go to number 10. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
It is going to be Guy Lafleur, Pavel Bure, the Russian Rocket, or Artemi Panarin, or other. Keith, what do you think? Guy Lafleur.
I saw him play.
No hesitation on that either.
None. And believe it or not, I like Pavel Bure. I mean, he's another one who trade. Remember when Vancouver was did trade him? All the talk, who are they going to give up and who's this? And he ended up going to Florida, making a difference. Guy Lafleur.
Yeah. I mean,
he was the whole package, that guy.
And he had a disco album. You can't beat that.
Yeah, that's true. Boy, what he looks like today. He's still alive, I would think.
Oh, right? Yeah. He was quite sick for a while, but I guess he's feeling better.
Yeah.
Or doing better anyways. So
right. And Panarin, he's good, but he's not done.
Yeah. I just kind of threw that in as kind of a comparison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what you guys thought about the modern player compared to players of the past, I guess.
Well, and that's a great point because what's the modern player versus players of the past? We're talking different types of games.
Right.
I mean, scoring is not what it was, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And it's just different. So,
much different equipment, much different game, really. Right. I mean, it's not as rough as it used to be.
Nope.
What do you think, Dad?
Well, I went with Guy Lafleur, too. Of course, I'm a Ranger fan, and I like Panarin, but he hasn't been here long enough.
Right.
He got to build up some skill or some whatever the word I'm trying to say. But anyway, Pavel Bure, I always liked him too. But Guy Lafleur, the flower, how can you not pick him? It's just he was phenomenal to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I watched him play for a lot of years.
Right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't anything he couldn't do. you know. And I tell you, I really wanted to pick Bure because you got to remember, Bure was in like my era, right? I mean, Lafleur was still playing when I was getting into hockey, but he was towards the end of his, of his career, right? And I saw Bure, right from the get-go, and that guy was just absolutely incredible. But then he had all those knee problems, and it just kind of it derailed him,
Yeah.
So with that said, yeah, I gotta make this a unanimous decision here, and I'm going to go with Guy Lafleur as well. Plus, he was also voted the greatest junior hockey player of all time in some poll I saw. So,
I didn't know that.
Yep, he was just incredible in the Quebec Major Junior League. So,
was he part of their early '70s championship teams?
He got drafted in '71, I think.
So he may have.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he was there for that whole dynasty through the '70s.
Yeah, so he made like the 4 at the end, and then maybe 1 or 2 at the beginning, because I think they won 6.
Right. Yeah, because then Philadelphia came along.
Right.
Exactly.
Sandwich in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you had the Boston, and then the Philadelphia, and then Montreal, and then it was kind of a hopscotch.
Yeah, poor Boston. Always very good, but just couldn't get by them.
I know it. Jeez, if
remember some of those game 7s?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, Terry O'Reilly.
I always felt bad for Don Cherry. Poor guy,
Yeah.
I like Don Cherry.
He made out all right though.
Is he still on Hockey Night in Canada?
No, he got fired a couple of years ago.
Okay, I forget. Yeah,
he's got a podcast now though. Called the Grapevine or something like that.
What, he didn't dress conservatively enough, or what?
No, he finally went a little too far with his comments. So they showed him the door.
Yeah. Podcasting, you can say anything, right?
Pretty much. So, anyways, moving right along, we're going to go to number 77, and this time it's going to be Ray Bourque, Paul Coffey, or Victor Hedman.
Not Phil Esposito. Wow.
No, because I always equated him with number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I always equated him with number. I know he wore 77 when he was in New York, but I always thought of Phil Esposito was number 7. Plus, the common factor here is they're all defensemen.
Right.
I was actually thinking about mixing up positions like that, but then I'm like, man, that's awful hard to decide when you're,
Right.
So,
right. Okay.
So, anyways, there, Doctor, what do you think?
Wow. That's tough. I mean, Paul Coffey was definitely the better offensive out of all 3 of them. I mean, I remember that. I remember watching him, and he was good. Bourque, I think, was more all around, and Hedman, he's just like the package, the toughness that can do everything. That is tough. That is really tough. I'll probably go with Bourque.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Bourque. When I think what sells me on him is moving to Colorado and getting them over the hump. It's one thing to be on a great team and win. It's another, you're a proven leader and a great player when you can take that, when you're that last final piece.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah.
So,
and Bourque was always one of those guys I felt bad for too, just like Don Cherry, because I mean he always got, when he was in Boston, right? He always got there and just couldn't get over the top.
Right.
It was
absolutely
too. What do you think there, Gump?
Well, I didn't pick any of them.
Oh,
I can't stand the Bruins and I can't stand the Penguins. And especially Bourque and Coffey.
Yeah, but Coffey played for like 8 different teams.
Yeah, well, that's true. But and then I don't even know who this Victor Hedman is. I must be too old.
Well, he plays for Tampa Bay.
Okay, so I don't know who he is. I haven't paid much attention to him per se.
Mm-hmm.
But Bourque and Coffey, boy, Keith come up with some good stuff there as far as the offensive ability of Coffey and the all-around Bourque. He was tough too. He was strong. So I don't know. I guess I had to pick one. I just flip a coin, and heads would be Bourque and tails would be Coffey, and that'd be the end of it. So I'll work them out.
This one was so tough because Coffey was definitely the more exciting player.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy had wheels like you couldn't imagine. And here's a little fun fact about him too. You know how like with hockey skates or ice skates in general, you're supposed to wear them like a size or a size and a half smaller than your shoe size? Did you know his skates were 3 sizes smaller than his shoe size? That's how tight he wore those things. Could you imagine that? I mean,
So what's the thinking behind that? More speed?
because it's more support. Yeah.
Make him sing soprano.
Yeah.
What's gonna
I
happen.
know.
Yeah.
No kidding.
He won't walk next year, but he'll be.
And I mean, he does. I think, he still holds the goal or record for defensemen scoring goals, 48 in one season. But you know what? Ray Bourque was just the man. He really was. As much as I loved Paul Coffey, he was also at times very much so a defensive liability.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Ray Bourque never was. And, the fact that he finally did get his Stanley Cup, I think, gives the edge to Ray Bourque. I really, truly think that. And plus, think of it this way, too. Look at the shadow that he had to come out of.
Bobby
Right?
Orr.
I mean, he was pretty much taking over for Bobby Orr.
Right.
You want to talk about an active foul. Oh.
Right.
So, my vote's Ray Bourque, too. And we know you're.
I want to say Coffey won what? Maybe 3 Stanley Cups?
Let's see. He won 3 in Edmonton, 2 in Pittsburgh, and 1 in Detroit.
So did he get traded after the 3rd one in Edmonton?
Yes. It was a big contract problem.
So and now he didn't want to deal with that stuff, did he?
Yeah, and you want to talk about somebody who just landed on his feet, right? So here he gets traded away from the Oilers, playing with Gretzky and Messi and all those guys. Yeah, you don't want to. We don't want to give you your contract. So guess what? We'll just trade you to go play with Mario Lemieux. No problem.
And Yager.
Yeah, I know. Right. It's like, right? Oh wow. Gee, ouch.
I know you're punishing me.
I knew Glenn Saylor liked him. Okay. So next number up is number 16. And number 16 is going to be Pat LaFontaine, Brett Hull, Marcel Dion, Bobby Clark, or other. What do you think, Keith?
Oh, man. Marcel Dion. He was a right winger, right?
No, he was a center.
He was a center?
Yep.
So these are all centers.
Well, Hull played the wing, but I had to figure out a way to get him in there. So,
well, LaFontaine was a great playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just as successful in Buffalo as although he had Alexander McGillney, right?
Right.
Hull was a pure goal scorer. And Scotty, I'm sorry, who was the other one? Marcel Dion. Who was the 4th?
And Bobby Clark.
I can't speak to him as much because even though I hated the Flyers, I don't recall them playing. I don't recall that like being in tune to the mid-70s teams. Oh man. Pat LaFontaine.
Pat LaFontaine, interesting choice.
Yeah. I think he could make others better. The others better individually.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. So,
but I'll say Pat LaFontaine as a Buffalo Sabre.
As a Buffalo, not as an Islander.
Oh, that shocked me.
Oh, well,
he had
all
better
right.
seasons. He had better numbers in Buffalo.
I can't believe what this is. This is a Twilight Zone. You got the Islanders getting praised by the Ranger fans. You got the guy who picks an Islander but doesn't want him as an Islander. Oh man. Okay, so
I could give you my picks ahead of time if you want.
I mean that's So, Dad, what about you?
Boy, Brett Hull's out. Brett Hull.
Yeah, that was quick.
His father was a hockey player. Brett Hull was, I don't know. He was just, to me, he was too conceited, too cocky. Bobby Clark was the same way. I didn't like him either.
Flin Flons owned Bobby Clark, and you didn't like him?
No, I don't like Bobby Clark. I never did like Bobby Clark. He's a crybaby. He's out there whining all the time. But Pat LaFontaine was a hell of a hockey player. But so was Marcel Dion, and that's who I picked. I did like Marcel Dion because he was solid. To me, he was a true hockey player.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I got to agree with you on that one. Marcel Dion, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Just because he did something with nothing for so long out in L.A. When he was unknown. And look at this. We got a late arrival to the party. The one and the only Professor Jeremy Roberts. Come on in, buddy. On your way to the rink?
I will be shortly. The time's got moved to 9 o'clock, so I just got done watching that other lovely sport, baseball in the rain. So
I can't believe they play.
Now we're trying to dry out.
Well, you came to the wrong place. So we're playing the numbers game. Right. So I think I tried to explain it to you a little bit earlier. So what I'm doing is I'm giving a jersey number. Okay. And then I'm giving a group of players. And then you're going to pick who the best player was that wore that number. Okay. So we're going to move on and we're going to go to number 8. Number 8. And the choices are Alex Ovechkin, Teemu Selanne, Cam Neely, or other. Jeremy, what do you think?
Wow, you got to start with me first, huh?
I can come back to you if you want.
No, I mean, you think of like the changes in the game and how the game is played now. I mean, Cam Neely being the number 8 over Ovechkin. I mean, it's a different style game. Obviously, with the skill and the speed and the power that Ovechkin has, Cam, didn't really live up to the speed, I guess, sort of say to that advantage there. But I'll say Cam just because he's the old schooler number 8, and the game it was different what it is now.
Okay, good enough. Yeah. All right, Keith, what do you think?
That another tough one. I would say, well, if I think of Ovechkin playing today and playing in the previous generations, he probably would be just as good. Mm-hmm. That's how I'm going to look at this, as far as a time capsule. And I don't think the games, he probably may even been better in earlier generations. So I'm going to go with him.
Okay, so you're going with Ovechkin.
Yeah, and Selanne, all I remember about him is he broke Bossy's rookie record, and I'm serious. That's all I know. I don't remember much more. I mean, he had great seasons, but there was never a wow effect. I don't. Now maybe that's because he was far away in Winnipeg, and for us,
and he broke Bossy's rookie record.
I said it already.
All right, Dad, what do you think?
Well, I'm up with Alex Ovechkin, but I like what Jeremy was saying with Cam Neely, because trying to compare to the old school to the new school, boy, that's tough. And actually, Teemu Selanne, I thought, was a hell of a hockey player. So any one of these, again, you made this very difficult.
I did that on purpose.
I went with Ovechkin only because, well, he's Alex Ovechkin. That's all I can tell you.
I got to tell you something. I have always had a soft spot in my heart for Teemu Selanne. Even when he played for the Anaheim Ducks, I had a soft spot for Teemu Selanne. And, I know Ovechkin's numbers are overall better, but I'm going with Teemu Selanne just because I like the guy. I can't help it. Speed, skill, the works. So I'm going with Teemu. I don't care what you guys think.
Mm-hmm. Could have been any one of them.
Whole thing is rigged. That's why you put him on the list.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So he can pick him.
See how I did that?
Yeah.
You go first next time, wise guy.
All right. So if you guys really want to try this one, number 19. Oh. And the choices are Steve Yzerman, Brian Trottier, Joe Sakic, or other. And Keith, I know you want to give us your opinion on this one.
Oh my God! You don't have time to think.
That's brutal.
Yeah, boy, you ain't kidding.
Either way, I'm going to lose out here.
It's not going to be Brian Trottier who's with the Penguins now, is it?
Listen, I'll bring us into the bizarre world if you want. Let me think. Well, first off, the guy did win 6 Stanley Cups.
That is true.
Okay, and I'm racking my brain right now. I'm trying to. I think he still holds a playoff record. I heard that recently. I don't know if it's most points in a playoff season. There's something he still holds. Trottier.
Right. Gretzky's got the most points in a playoff season.
Okay, there's something though. Maybe consecutive points.
Could be.
It's something like that. Yzerman. I mean, yeah, he was phenomenal. Oh my God, tough. Oh God, Trottier. I just got to go with my being a fan. I got to pick him. It's so close that my out is picking the team.
That's all right. That's all right. I don't blame you. It's okay. Dad, what do you think? I
almost feel guilty.
Well,
but that's okay. We forgive you.
I am not a Trottier fan because what he did to my Rangers most of the time, I don't care about
especially when he coached them, right?
Oh boy! And Joe Sakic was another great player, but I think it's Steve Yzerman putting up the points, playing the way he did when Detroit wasn't so good. A lot of times, Detroit, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be able to climb out of last place.
Right.
He kept them up there. I don't care. He was really good. I went with Steve Yzerman.
Jerry.
I mean, all of them. Can I pick all of them?
Yeah, I tried that 3 times now.
I mean, you did say other, so I mean, just to completely stay out of the argument. 19. Brad Richards. I don't know. I mean, I don't honestly with those 3.
It's tough.
Like your dad said, Stevie Y. I mean, the way, like you said, he brought Detroit pretty much out of the depths of what they were a part of. I mean, I don't know this for certain, but I'm sure that the team that pretty much came around Detroit was because of him.
Yeah.
I mean, but you got Trottier, that was a great player. I mean, they just had him on NHL Live or NHL Now before one of the playoffs games talking about him, all the records that he held or whatever, it's unbelievable the number of who you're trying to think of. And Joe Sakic, I mean that's another one. So I mean, I'll go with Stevie Y.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I mean, you don't get much better leader than Brian Trottier.
No,
Joe Sakic was phenomenal, but I got to go with Stevie Y too. I mean, here's a guy that was named captain at 21 years old.
Yeah.
And was the longest serving captain in NHL history. So I mean, he could do it all. And you guys, Dad and Jeremy, you're both right. When Detroit was nothing, he was still putting up all those numbers, and he was, the reason that they came out of the cellar like they did. So
right.
Stevie Y gets the number 19 nod, but don't worry about it. We got room for Brian Trottier too, Keith. It's all good.
Hey, think about that draft with Stevie Y. He went first, and LaFontaine went third.
That's right. That is right. Absolutely.
83, I think. 83 draft. That was a great draft.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I think Ronnie Francis was in that draft too, wasn't he?
I'm dying. I can't remember who went second.
Yeah, I think so. I have to look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going to switch gears here, and we're going to go with the goalies. And the goalie number is number 30. And your choices are Martin Brodeur, Henrik Lundqvist, Ryan Miller, or other. Jeremy, what do you think?
I mean, I want to say Henrik because obviously he was a longtime Ranger, but I mean, you put Marty Brodeur in that conversation, and I mean, with those 3, I mean, the other, I mean, sure, you can name other ones, but I mean, Marty Brodeur is the first guy that comes to name. Yeah, you know what I mean? There's no other words for him. I mean, you say goaltender in the NHL, and my son's 7, and he even says Martin Brodeur. So right. I mean, it's like it just goes and goes and goes. So Martin Brodeur, hands down.
Okay, Dad.
No, Henrik Lundqvist. No doubt about it. I'm a Ranger fan, and I'm not going to give anything to the damn Devils, and that's going to be under right there.
You got to give it up. I mean, Martin Brodeur played here in Utica, so I mean,
that's true. That's true. He did play in Utica.
And don't forget, the Comets are now the Devils affiliates. So you don't want to get your season tickets. That's quite
all right. Well, no, I have my season tickets, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to do there. I might go drunk. I don't know.
Wear your Rangers jersey. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, there you go.
Keith, what do you think?
Definitely Brodeur. I mean, although Miller was a great goalie, but you know what I always remember him for? Losing the Olympic gold game.
Yes,
that was a heartbreaker.
That's the black. That's
That
the
was a
black eye.
heartbreaker.
When I hear that name, it's the black eye.
Yes.
Black eye.
Yeah, but you know he got him to that gold medal game though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. But they could have won. You know, it was that close. But but no, Bedore. I mean, the guy's a winner.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. It's Marty Brodeur.
Yeah.
There's no whatever you think about the guy, that doesn't matter. The numbers are there, and that's all it really is.
I mean, his son's playing for the Devils right now, isn't he?
Is he? Or is he in Detroit?
As a goalie?
Is he? I thought maybe he was a Detroit system.
I don't know if he's in. I know he's wearing red somewhere. I remember seeing something. I don't know if it was. I mean, it'd be really weird if he is playing for the Devils organization and he comes back. He comes into Utica.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
That'd be really cool.
That would be. Okay, guys, we got one more to go here. And then we're going to go to break. And it's a defenseman group, and the number is 2. Your choices are Slava Fetisov, Brian Leach, Al McInnes, or other. We'll go to you, Keith.
So I remember Al McInnes, 1989, Calgary Stanley Cup, and I just remember that shot. A slap shot of his. Remember that? I mean, he was an all-around player. But I'm gonna have to go with Leach. I think Leach was just an all-around defenseman, and he was a winner. And he played as him and Messier. But you know, credit to him, not just Messier. He took the Rangers that year over the top. No doubt about it. And I thought you got to give. He's a class guy too. Not that the others weren't, but you know he really was. And when you remember a person who's on a team that you hate, you know that they must be good. So I'm going to go with Leach.
Okay, Dad.
Oh, thank you. I want to say thank you to him. It's Brian Leach.
He's just returning a compliment, you know.
But
you've been showering his Islanders with love all day. So
well, I've done everything else here, but I finally got 2 Rangers I could pick. But Brian, I loved the guy. Well, I went nuts when I was watching him all through the years. Fetisov, yes. Al McInnes, yes. Al McInnes, I think, had the hardest shot in hockey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
After Bobby Hull, I think. Of course, Bobby Hull had the wooden stick, straight blade, and all that.
Well, no, actually, he had a curved stick.
Oh, yeah. Well,
McInnes used a wood stick too,
but not the beginning.
Well, what did
Bobby Hull? That came afterwards.
Oh, the curved stick, yeah.
He's right.
But anyway,
I was gonna say he played in the '60s. What else was he using? Aluminum, you know?
Oh yeah, you're cute. You know that you're real cute.
Carbon fiber.
Yeah.
But no, you can't. That's a tough position to play anyway.
It is.
It's just unbelievable because there is a lot of good defensemen out there.
There is.
But you have like Bobby Orr when he started the offensive defenseman.
Right.
For a long time, you'd never even heard of something like that when I was growing up, anyway. But now, it's a tough position.
Yeah, it is.
And I just like Brian Leach.
Well, I'll tell you what, all 3 of them are, of course, in the Hockey Hall of Fame. All 3 of them are phenomenal defensemen. And I wanted to go with Brian Leach. I really did because I like Leachy. But here's the thing. Slava Fetisov, people really only saw him when he was getting towards the end of his playing career because he came over late to the NHL. Okay? He was considered the best defenseman in the world for most of the 80s. Just didn't play in the NHL. Obviously, he couldn't. He was playing for the Soviet Union. And they weren't going to let him out. And what that guy was able to do, and granted, it wasn't against NHL competition. I get it. But I would go right out on a limb and say that if Slava Fetisov was able to come over to the NHL in his prime, I can't even imagine how many Norris trophies the guy would have won because there was nobody that could compare to him. He was just that good.
How many years did he play?
In the NHL or overall?
NHL.
He ended up playing, I want to say 8 seasons in the NHL. Because he was a part of those Detroit 97, 98 cup-winning teams. Yeah. And that was pretty much the end for him right there. But just what he went through to get over here and what he was able to do, as on the international stage is just it's phenomenal. So for me, it's Fetisov with respect to both Leach and McInnes, but Fetisov's my choice. But anyways, that was fun. We ought to do this again sometime. We'll come up with another batch of numbers, another batch of players, and we'll do this again sometime next season.
That's a nightmare.
That's hard, though, boy. That is hard.
You're gonna have nightmares about this now. You know that, right?
Oh.
You know what? What you should do is you should just pick the number rather than putting the number with the name, and then we can discuss the.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Next game.
Yeah. Next time we do this, okay. We'll play the Jeremy rules this time.
We'll call them the professor rules.
Yes.
Yeah, this is starting to sound like Texas Hold'em or something.
Yes. What is it? Up the river or whatever? I don't know.
Can't even keep track.
I don't know. I'm not very good at cards.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're going to take our commercial break here. But before we do, as always, I'm going to hit you guys with breakaway trivia. And you're smiling already. I like it.
Yeah, I'm smiling. I'm smiling.
Right. You might get this one, though. You might get this one.
Uh-oh.
This week.
You ain't going to believe my answer.
You're right. I probably won't. This week, the breakaway trivia question is, who is the first back-to-back winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy as NHL Playoffs MVP? The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of Little Falls, New York. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, and our events calendar. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling stories about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of local residents and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store or sign up for our weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back with segment 2 of Marty's Illegal Stick. And as always, we're going to do our breakaway trivia answer to kick things off. But first, I'm going to give you the question again. The question was, who is the first back-to-back winner of the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoffs MVP? And I got to hear your answer.
Mike Bossy.
No, but you're in the ballpark.
Again, that's 3 ballparks I got now.
Yeah.
Problem is,
it's just got to be the right ballpark.
No. The problem is he's at the 350-foot marker.
You know, I'm old, you guys. You got to give me a break.
Keith, what do you think?
We talked about him earlier. Guy Lafleur.
Jeremy?
Wow. I don't know. Lemieux?
I thought of him.
All good guesses. Dave, do you have one?
No, I don't.
Okay. Just want to make sure. It was actually Bernie Perron in the Philadelphia Flyers.
Really?
74 and 75.
Oof.
That's what I was saying. I figured you might get that one.
Well,
no, it was your era. I mean, you know.
My era. Yeah. God, I got to remember to zip my fly back up. But you kidding me? I'm getting old, I tell you.
Well, please tell me you did before you came in here.
Well, no, but I mean, you're trying to make me remember all this stuff.
Oh, boy.
God.
Okay, moving right
You know,
along.
I was trying to think. I mean, that's tough because I was thinking of all the Islander teams that went back to back to back, and and that one, wow.
Yeah. So, we got some birthdays, boys. Happy birthday to Hall of Famer Paul Coffey. We just talked about him earlier. Coffey turned 60 on June 1st.
Holy cow.
Yeah, you believe that? And here's another one that'll really make you feel old. A happy birthday to Hall of Famer Larry Robinson. Larry turned 70 on June 2nd today.
Wow.
He's just a kid.
Yeah, I know. I was going
Can you believe that?
Damn kids.
Yeah, I know.
So the road to the 2021 NHL draft continues with the draft lottery that's going on right now as we speak. And we hope to have the results before we finish recording. Well, I've been trying to look at Twitter and talk at the same time here, so I'm stumbling over myself. Only the top 2 spots are up for grabs, with the Buffalo Sabres having the best chance, followed by the Anaheim Ducks and Seattle Kraken, and then on down the line. So, while I'm getting the results here, is there any particular players you guys are got your eye on? Owen Power, Matty Beniers?
Of course, those two, yeah, because they're coming out of that great university.
Well, I kind of figure as soon as I threw that out there, that would get you talking.
I mean, it's that, and I mean, the draft's already, the lottery's already started, so I'm guessing the Rangers didn't get one, but that would have been great.
No, it looks like Columbus has got number 5, Detroit's number 6, LA's number 8. It's all over the place here, guys, so bear with me.
Right.
But poor Detroit, they just can't catch a break.
Yeah, right.
Who's that?
Detroit.
Oh,
They're number 6. I mean, come on. Those damn lottery balls. I said lottery.
The Kraken are here.
They're still in it, apparently. I'm trying to. So I did tell you Columbus is 5. Yeah. The Flyers are 13th. They're going to be 13th. Well, I guess the results are still coming in. But I mean, New Jersey, number 4.
Jeremy's trying to listen in.
From second to third, the good news is
Number 3 is Anaheim.
Number 3 overall pick has jumped straight to the NHL.
Oh.
2 general managers remaining, watching this anxiously as we see Ron Francis and Kevin Adams.
I just threw on NHL.
So it's the Kraken.
I think it may be illegal for us to rebroadcast NHL Network.
So that's okay. So it's the Kraken and the Sabres battling it out for the top 2 spots.
You never guess who got it.
The Kraken.
Buffalo.
Got what? First?
The number 1 overall pick.
Did they really?
What do you mean? Why wouldn't we guess that?
Because it usually doesn't happen with this lottery. The worst team getting the number 1 pick.
It's perfect. Karma.
Yeah.
But the problem is what are they going to do with it? I mean, you got all that drama that's going on.
But you know what, though? Either you trade the pick, or with all this stuff going on with Eichel, go ahead and trade him and draft Matty Beniers. Get what you can for Eichel if he wants out so bad.
If Matty Beniers goes there, or Owen Power goes there, I mean, it's just going to ruin their career.
No. Owen Power wouldn't go there because he'd be Owen Powers could go to Seattle.
Yeah.
Right? Because Buffalo's only got the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were bad, but you can't give them a 2 for 1.
Is Beniers the center? Scott?
Yeah.
Is Beniers the center?
Beniers the center, yeah.
Beniers, yeah.
He's phenomenal.
Like an Eichel type, a type of player, or better?
I wouldn't say better.
He's not as skillful. I think he has more power.
Right.
I mean, he plays. When I watch him play, at the University of Michigan, and even for now, Team USA in the Worlds, his style of play, he's a gritty, good hands, doesn't mind getting in the dirty spots, smart with the puck. Great shot. Yeah. He's an all-around player, just not skilled obviously, but he's not. He's more of a all-around player more than just like a power guy or a finesse guy. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
And not for nothing too. I mean, Buffalo does have Dylan Cousins. Casey Middlestead finally started playing a little bit better, more up to his potential last season. So, you take Beniers, and like I said, if Eichel wants out so bad, get what you can. Right?
Well, and what about the defenseman they picked one a couple of years ago?
Dahlin.
Rasmus Dahlin.
Right.
Yeah, I think I don't. I mean, if they keep him, and say Beniers goes, and they keep Eichel and Dahlin, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you don't really want to say it again, but here comes your rebuild. But I mean, that's a hell of a way to start a rebuild.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going, it's promising. It's just I think if ownership may have changed hands, it may be a little better. But
right. Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, there is a foundation for some talent there. They're going to need some draft picks. Let's shift gears for teams that are not in the draft lottery. They are in the playoffs. So we had our predictions from the first round a couple shows ago, and for the most part, we tried to throw some upsets out there, and it didn't. Even though Jeremy, you almost hit with the Minnesota Vegas one.
Wow.
I hit with the Colorado or the Toronto Montreal one, but the rest of my final, I got one team left in the final 4 that can make it. It's Colorado. Yeah.
What do I have left? I don't even know what I have left.
I didn't bring the sheet with me. You got Boston.
Yeah.
You had Boston going. They're still alive. Yeah. And I think you had Colorado going in too. So, but anyways, we got our second round matchup starting. And so what do you guys think? Is there anything that's jumping out at you, surprising you?
This Winnipeg Montreal series is going to be a great series. I think having the matchup be what it is, two basically underdog teams that were kind of overlooked that shouldn't be in the playoffs right now, that are now in the playoffs, that's going to be a hell of a series to watch. I'm excited for that series to start up. Obviously, the Boston and Islander series is a little that's pretty much typical. You've seen it all season long of, bang each other and let's see who scores the most goals. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay, again, they're playing a little sloppy, but I think they can. They're getting away with it.
Yeah. I'm very surprised that there wasn't a split out of that Tampa Bay Carolina series. I'm very surprised, actually, that Tampa went into Carolina and won both of those games.
They got lucky. I mean, if you watch the game, they got lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, not lucky to the point where, they got lucky on a dirty goal here or there. But, I mean, the way that they were playing, it was like, oh, okay, now let's play.
Right.
And then they started playing. And then it was like, okay, let's lean back a little bit. And if they kept going throughout the whole entire game, it would have been, it would have been a typical Tampa Bay game.
Right. Right. Keith, is that Islanders Boston series going 7?
Geez, I hope not, because I got to get some sleep.
We still got a little bit of hair left,
right? Oh my God! I mean, you almost want him to lose. I'm tired. I see. We got to go to work in the morning, boys. I'm not sure. I could see it going 6, but I'm not sure who's going to win it in 6.
All right.
I go back to the Islanders. I'm not sure they deserve to be 1-1 at this point. I mean, every time they're getting out hit and they can't get the puck out of the zone, and yet they find a way to win. I just can't figure it out. But it is what it is. So we'll see how they do at home. I mean, it's really sentimental. Last playoff games sometime at the Coliseum. So that's motivational. Does the winner of that series plays the winner of Tampa Bay, Carolina, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So I find that really interesting because if you look at the last couple of seasons, if you're an Islander fan, you lost out to both Carolina and then Tampa Bay the last 2 playoff seasons. So if the Islanders win, I'm actually motivated to play either one of those teams if I'm an Islander fan. Because
hashtag revenge.
Yeah, it's revenge either way.
Either way.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Boston's good. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due.
That's that perfection line that just keeps doing it for him. And I couldn't believe how many shots on goal the Islanders gave up in game 2. I was astounded. It was like 40.
I know.
That was the Islanders.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know which I was surprised by more of, that or that Barry Trotz went with Varlamov over Sorokin. I was just
going to say that. What do you do here? I mean, is it that they have a wealth of goaltending, or is it just a matter of who's hot at the right time?
Yeah, but they're both hot now.
Yeah. So which one do you go with? I'm
right.
Coin flip.
Yeah, exactly.
What I am happy about is Sorokin is young. So if you're an Islander fan looking towards the future, you got something to look forward to there.
Right. Absolutely. And I just want to touch on that Vegas Colorado series real quick. That was just a bludgeoning in game 1.
Oh, it was a shock for everybody to see Lerner get the start. And everybody was like, well, what's going on? But then you started thinking, all right, so wait a minute. They just played 7 games. Fleury's old. And they never pulled Lerner. And it was like, well, what are you going to what's the point?
Right.
You're trying to give the man a rest. He was hot, but you're running into a Colorado team that is hot. So you just kind of take your lump. And I think we'll see Fleury. They play tonight, right?
Right, tonight.
I think we'll see Fleury in goal tonight. But the main reason I think why Lerner got to start was because, Fleury's old. He's 36 years old. He just got off of game 7. He only had 2 days. It would have been 2 days rest or 1 day rest.
No, actually it was 2 days rest.
Was it 2 days rest?
So they had that extra day, I think. Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a little shocking. But I mean, the beating that they took and the way they took it, they didn't even show up.
No.
It wasn't all on Lerner at all. But,
no.
I mean, they just never even came out to play.
No, not at all. And you know, the scary part is Colorado looks like they have no weakness.
No, not one. And I mean, Kadri is coming back. Well,
no, he's going to be gone for a while because they upheld that
7 more games.
Yeah, they upheld that 8-game suspension. And really, they don't need him.
Yeah. No, they really don't. But I mean, imagine if he was in the lineup.
Right. I mean, and you know, I'll tell you, if this same thing happens tonight, this series is over.
Oh yeah,
it really is.
And that was that in Las Vegas?
No, that was in Colorado.
That was in Colorado. So I mean, Vegas is a different team when they play home.
They're a different team when they play at home, but you know what the problem with Vegas is they have nothing at center.
No,
and you need strong play down the middle if you're going to play a team like Colorado, and they got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they've got superstars all over the ice, except for the most important spot in the middle of the ice.
Right.
So, like I said, Colorado looks like they're going to roll. So we'll see what happens tonight. All right, moving right along. The IIHF World Championships also continue over in Latvia. Both the U.S. and Canada have made it to the quarterfinals, with the tournament wrapping up this weekend. I've got to watch a few games of this. It's interesting, right? It's kind of like I look at it as like the NIT in college basketball compared to the NCAA tournament, right? But the one thing that's different is because this is international competition, it's played on the Olympic size ice, which is 200 by 100. You guys pay attention to that, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about watching hockey on Olympic size ice? I'll tell you, I don't really like it. I can't get used to it. Seems like there's just too much room out there, you know?
Right. I mean, you know, when they always say change is good, sometimes it's not, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
You know, I mean, granted, you know, there's obviously it cuts down on the hitting and all that. And yeah, it creates more room for, you know, dazzling plays. I understand that whole theory, but I don't know. I guess I'm just an old curmudgeon and prefer our tight NHL rinks like we have.
I don't know. I like the open space. You get to see the creativity that these guys can do. You know, you kind of get stuck on an island, sort of say.
Yeah.
But you also get to see how good these defenders are now too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to see them, you know, pretty much move as fast as they can and not be out of position.
Right.
Which is tough. I mean, in a slot like that, I mean, you know, you can go D to D, and you can't really jump and try to tip that puck out of the zone and catch it on a breakaway. If you do that, now you're basically a man down.
Right.
And I mean, it's interesting. It is, but I mean, I do like the NHL sheet a little better.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know if you guys have seen any of these games or not, but they have a really weird symbol in the middle of the ice too. I'm not sure what it is.
It looks like a baseball glove.
Yeah, it looks. You remember those like slime hands you used to throw against the wall?
Yes.
All I can think of when I see those things. It's like,
I don't know what it is.
Came out of my life.
Well, you remember the living room wall. You had it again, didn't you? Yeah, no, I can't figure it out. That'll be our homework for this week. We got to research that.
I wonder if it's like the international logo because it's always on. It's always on.
Either that or it looks like some kind of like extinct bird or something. I don't know. It's from the Paleolithic era.
Yeah. Giving you the bird the entire show.
Yeah, probably. But oh, well, that's all we got for hot takes. Like we always do, we're going to end hot takes with our website of the week. Website of the week is brought to you by 315hockey.com. 315hockey.com is your news hub for all levels of hockey in Central New York. This week's website of the week is mynhldraft.com. This site's kind of fun because you can do the draft simulators. You know, you were able to do the mock draft simulator up until tonight when it just got done, but now you can press the button and then they'll do like mock drafts. So it's fun. And then it's got results from all the past drafts of all the way through. So get a chance, check it out. Kind of fun to screw around with. Anyways, we're going to take our last commercial break, and after we do, we're going to come back for that Zamboni Time Machine. We'll be right back.
Need to find that gift for someone special? Visit Little Falls Presents at the Stone Mill and Canal Place. Stop by today to find unique artist work, T-shirts, coffee cups, gift towels, greeting cards, tote bags, koozies, and original oil paintings and prints. It's all about the art of the gift. For more information, visit mylittlefalls.com/shop or call 315-508-5310 for details.
And we're back with segment 3, Marty's Illegal Stick, the Zamboni Time Machine. The Zamboni Time Machine is brought to you by Zamboni.com, and the Zamboni name is used with permission. This week, the Zamboni Time Machine takes us back to January 19th, 1945, the date of one of the most unusual injuries in hockey history. Hockey players are well known for playing through injuries that would sideline normal people. It's not uncommon for players to have teeth knocked out without missing a shift, suffer a cut severe enough to require stitches only to return minutes later. Hell, Bob Baughan once played through the Stanley Cup final on a broken ankle. Harold Mush March would suffer an injury on that fateful night in 1945 that you just don't see every day. Mush played for the Chicago Blackhawks from 1928 through 1945. He was a small guy, but he had a penchant for scoring timely goals. He scored the first ever goal in Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens, and he also scored the game-winning goal that gave the Blackhawks their first ever Stanley Cup in 1934. Mush was also known for playing with his tongue hanging out like a panting dog. Think about Michael Jordan when he used to go try to do the dunks and all that, right? It would cost Mush on that fateful night in 1945 as a collision on the ice would cause his teeth to bite down and sever his tongue completely off.
Oh, no.
It would actually only take Mush a couple of weeks to recover, but during that time, he could not speak at all. He could only communicate by writing or sign language. I can't make this up. He would retire after that season and go on to be an NHL linesman for another 11 years.
Where he didn't have to speak.
Well, he had to break fights up, though, so I don't know.
That's okay.
So if that isn't unusual enough, how about this one? When a player is playing well, he is said to be on fire. You would believe this actually happened one night? In 1930, a goalie named Abby Goldberry was playing a game in the Quebec Junior Leagues. Goldberry took a puck to the chest, which in itself isn't unusual. But for whatever reason, he had a box of matches in the shirt he was wearing under his chest protector. The puck made direct contact with the matches, and from there, science took over. The matches ignited and caught Goldberry's gear and uniform on fire. His teammates were able to extinguish him, and although he did suffer some pretty nasty burns, Goldberry made a full recovery. And that, my friends, concludes this week's trip on the Zamboni Time Machine.
One of the hottest players in the NHL.
You are correct there, sir. Could you picture that on SportsCenter? And the first draft pick of the Calgary Flames is...
Let's get naked on the ice.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine.
You see everybody following him? This is
Oh, God.
How do you stop, drop, and roll on the ice? That's kind of...
God.
Oh, yeah. Mush's severed tongue and Goldberry's on fire. What a Zamboni Time Machine we just had.
That was good. Good stuff.
Yeah. I just don't know what numbers they were, so we'll have to remember that for the next time we play the Jersey game. So,
and the question will be, what's the hottest player?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, well, that's all we got, folks. I hope you enjoyed our little Jersey game. We'll play that again some point. I want to thank our panelists here, Leo Kinville, Keith Levatino, Jeremy Roberts, and Dave the Save Warner. I also want to remind you that you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast. You can find us at martysillegalstick.com and on all major podcast platforms under My Little Falls. So until next week, I'm Scott Kimball. We'll see you then.